In a previous video, we showed how to use the Eclipse IDE for running a very simple project, a Prolog project, with a single file that did some telephone pricing. In this case, we're going to expand that, make it a little more complex. We're going to have 3 files in our project, and we're also going to show how to use the debugger to solve problems when it doesn't work the way we would like. Right-clicking and open project. We can look at our file, and we can see these .pro files, which are the 3 files that are significant in the project. For the rate of figuring out the rate of a phone call, this is going to be the pure logic-based part of it. This is the reason why Prolog would be used for an application like this. It's extremely well suited to encoding information about pricing rules, for example. So here are all the pricing rules. Again, 3 different rates depending on weekend or weekday, day or night, and we're also going to define what a weekend is based on the day the call was made, and whether it's nighttime or daytime based on the hour that the call was made. So we're adding a little more reality to the application. We're going to use back-end data. So rather than just simply call it directly, we're going to have here a simulated database of phone call data where we have an ID, a day, an hour, and a duration for each of the phone calls. And then we're going to have a front-end user interface, which is going to simply print up a report of what the price is for each of these phone calls. It's going to use a repeat fail loop to pick up a phone call, calculate the rate using our logic base. Price is rate time duration, and a simple report. Fail, go back up and get to the next phone call, and mean when we're done. So there's the 3 files in our application. We can look at a couple of other features in Eclipse. We can look at the outline capability over here. So if we have a large file, and we don't yet, but we could see how this could certainly grow as we get more and more complexity into our rules, that here are rate, and here's our 3 rules for rate. So this shows us all of the predicates in the file, lets us easily find something that we might be looking for in that file, and we can sort it alphabetically or look at it in the order it occurs in the file. We can also get a full project cross-reference. This green lightning bolt will get it for us. And now we've got the cross-reference for our project here. We can look at something like that main predicate, which was in our user interface, and we can see by these arrows that it uses somebody, but it's not used by anybody, and that makes sense because that's going to be the top level predicate of our application. And what does it use? It uses some built-ins here. It uses the phone call records to get started, and it calls rate to find out what the rate of the call is. We can look at rate down here and see what we can learn about it. What does it use? Well, rate uses daytime, nighttime, weekday, etc. in order to figure out what the rate's going to be. And who uses it? Rate is used by main, who calls it for rate, as we knew. So those are some powerful tools for understanding how an application, how your Prolog application is put together. Now let's run this project. And we select the project over here, and we go run as, and in this case we run it as a full interpreted project. And we can see in the listener it consulted the database that we had, the front-end user interface in main.pro, and our rules in rate.pro. And we can test it by typing main. And there's our answer. It's priced our phone calls, but we do have a problem. The 3rd phone call wasn't priced. Oh, let's go look at that. We can go back up here, look at the call data. See that that was a Friday at 8 o'clock call. We can see call that rate directly to see what the problem is there. Let's say call rate Friday 8 o'clock and get the rate, and it says no. So clearly rate is broken for this particular case. We could try one of the other ones. Rate Monday 6 o'clock X, and rate is 7, so that's working okay. There's something about Friday at 8 o'clock that's not working. So we quit the normal listener and go up, and we're going to start the debugger. So we say we want to debug this as an interpreted project. And now here we are in the debugger. Over here is going to be the call stack, and for our debugging session, once we start it, a number of buttons to control things. We can look at the variables as we go. etc. But we want to test that rate predicate. So let's type the rate of Friday 8, and we want to get whatever the rate is. We'll call it X. And this is the start of the listener. This little listener output.txt is a little file that's created just to let the debugger track things right off the get-go from the call to the listener. And here we can start going through our program. We can see the call stack is up here. We're calling the rate for Friday 8. X is this internal variable H123. Here's X. It's got some heap cell internally. These things will let you step into, step over like a normal debugger. These control all of the leashing, whether you want to see all 4 ports of Prolog being executed, and other options here, which you can learn about in the documentation. But let's step into this. And there we're going to call rate. That's what the green is there. The I means information. It means we're really just starting it. It's really a pseudo port just to let you know where things are going. But this is where we are now. We're in the first rule for rate, and we're going to try that and see how it works. And we step into it, and what it does is it calls weekend for day. And up here we can see that day is set to Friday. Over here we can see that day is set to Friday. Here we can see the line of code we're on, and we're calling weekend for the day. And it fails weekend day because there isn't a rule for weekend Friday. So that's what we expected it to do. Now it backtracks up to rate, and now the backtracking search of Prolog goes and tries the next rule for rate. So let's see if it's a 7-cent call. And we want to call if it's a weekday. And what is day? Day is Friday. What's the hour? The hour is 8. And we can see that over here on our call stack as well. So rate is now calling weekday. And there it is, weekday Friday. So we found that down there. So that's good. So we've exited from weekday a day. You're looking at the 4 ports of Prolog debugging here. Now we can see whether the nighttime is the hour 8. And we would expect it actually to be 8 time, but nighttime for the hour 8, and tries that. Is the hour greater than 19? No. So that fails. It's going to try the next rule for nighttime. Is the hour less than 8? No, because it's actually 8, so that fails. So it fails nighttime, but now, here's what we expected. We're going to redo that and try a new rule for rate. And now we're going down to the next rule for rate. We try the weekday again. Yes, it's Friday, that's good. And the daytime of the hour. Daytime hour of the hour is greater than 8. And, oh, there's the problem. It should be greater than or equal to 8 and less than or equal to. So we've lost the particular case of 8 o'clock. We now know what the problem is. We can hit this red button to terminate the debugger. Go back to our Prolog code here. We can fix our applications. So now it says greater than or equal to. Oh, and a little quirk in Prolog, equal to or less than. You never put the two together to make a perfectly good arrow. So you always do the greater than and equal, so it's not an arrow in Prolog. We can save that file. Now let's run it again. Run as an interpreted project. Retype main. And now we have all of our calls priced the way we would expect them to. And now we quit after a day's work well done.